Oh, yeah. Yeah. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're taking a detour from Minnesota. We're going out to the Rockies. We're going out Colorado way, you know, that place Paul doesn't seem to want to ever go by. We're checking in with George. He's back. Yeah, this is like a little bit of a self-interest video. I don't think any of my audience may click with this, but yeah, no, I've been following George for a long time, and yeah, he kind of disappeared off his channel a while back, and I guess there was a bit of concern, considering the last video was basically a lament for his friend passing. I'm not too sure what happened to him. I think he had an alcohol addiction, and possibly that went south very quick, or something related along those lines, and George was kind of cut up about it. They used to work together at a local Winn-Dixie, or whatever the chain is in that area. Yeah, they went their separate ways, but like stayed in contact. And I guess the young guy, he was from, I want to say he was an Afghan, or half Afghan, or something like that. And George would, be often invited over to his little barbecues and stuff, and he would be just sloshed. And George was like trying to give up drinking at the time. Anyway, the friend died, and I think George hit pause on the channel and kind of went dark. Because he goes back on YouTube quite a while, I'll say at least 10 years, maybe 8 to 10. And yeah, he used to be a Virgin Messiah, and then he was, he was Forever Alone Fields, and then the channel went to like the Virgin Messiah, and then he kind of arrived at George's journal, because I guess they were transitions in his life. I don't know if he's actually a virgin anymore. I think he sealed the deal with a woman he met previously, but I don't think he's with her anymore. So turning 40, getting married, moving out, leaving my job. Good to see you, George. I was always a big fan, still am, but I don't know if the channel is really going to be a priority for you anymore. Getting married, that's crazy. The last I heard, he split ways with this person he met last year, and it seemed like it was just, he's back to being in the wilderness of romance, so we weren't really sure what was going on there. Alright, George, good to see you again. Ooh, gonna have to get some dip. Ooh.
Well, hello there.
Ooh.
It is Wednesday, March 5th, 2025.
Yeah, George was, sorry, I'm already cutting him off. George was a husky gent, 5, 6, 7 years ago. He was a big lad, big Ukrainian lad. But since then, he's really, obviously, he's very svelte. He's really gotten in shape. And yeah, he's looking much better than he was, but he really put in the effort. He put in the work.
About 5:41 p.m. I think about 2.5 years. Man, this is super weird. I'm not even really sure how to get started with this, where to get started. It's like in my head, I can picture myself doing this, just like a long time habit of pretending I'm talking into a camera to just talk about what's on my mind, all that good stuff. Now that this is all set up right here, I'm kind of, geez, it feels
Yeah, it would probably feel weird. You haven't really been in front of this camera doing the vlog thing for, what, 2 years? It's been 2 years? And yeah, it'll be an odd thing getting back into the groove. Because I mean, he used to do videos daily.
Rather odd. So, where to even get started? It's been a while, folks. It's been a long time. Yeah, things are changing in life. It really does, in a way, feel like everything in life has now led to this. And now the hard work begins. Whatever challenges I thought I had before, now the actual hard work begins, and now it kind of feels like...
Yeah, if you're getting married, I suppose, if it's all about getting married, yeah, it's going to be a challenge.
Like my life is just now actually starting in a weird, strange way. In a nutshell, I mean, I'm going to be getting married. I'm going to be moving out. I've got a few days left at my job at the library. That's right. Yeah,
He's still there. Okay. All right. I'm not too sure what he did there. Outside of like admin roles, maybe reception, coordinating different events. Yeah, he was just frustrated in this job. Like, I guess it became comfortable, but to his own detriment. I think he indicated that a lot, where it's like it's just safe. He wants to do something a little bit more advanced.
I'm leaving. It's an actual big decision with consequences. You know, not just living in routine, living in safety, comfort, all that stuff. Actually taking chances, taking risks. What do I have lined up?
I want to say you were coding. You were doing some sort of coding around blockchain, I want to say.
Nothing, folks. I'm gonna be leaving to study full-time into...
George, I thought you were studying before. I thought you were going for it full-throated and full force.
Blockchain development world.
Blockchain. What is that? Blockchain, was that... What was that? Yeah, it's like a decentralized digital ledger. It's like it's private transaction. What was the coin he used to hold? Altcoins. It was always going on about it. Not Ethereum, not Tether. Tether's one, no, it's a stablecoin. Not Solana. Doge, no. Tron, no. Oh, you didn't have Ripple. I think I had Ripple for a bit. It was like kind of a joke. Like no one really take Chainlink. He had Chainlink. Hey, it's actually not doing too bad. Or that stinky link. I had Hedra. I had some Hedra and a bit of Stellar. Yeah, I had a lot of stuff, and I think I like literally pissed it away on gas charges on Ethereum.
If I have it in me, can I do it, folks? Is it a smart idea?
No,
probably not.
No, but it is a risk. You're feeling the pressure, and it's got to be do or die. You got to make that decision. If you're getting married, you've got to possibly have kids with this woman, with this person.
What exactly is a smart idea at this point? I'm going to be 40 years old this year, my friends. 40 years old. I don't really have forever to try to make moves, take risks, take chances, try to work towards something. I am going to blink, and my life will be over before my eyes. You know, time is truly going by that fast. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that, but that's kind of...
Yeah, life is like a mile a minute. Like, I did this big move recently, and it's gone by so fast. It was annoying, but like like, it was like an instant. And I know I've moved around before, and I feel like when I was, I think it's just when you're younger, I guess you're not really paying attention to the passage of time in the way you would understand it or feel it at a much older age. It's like, days just run into each other. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years, and you're like, what happened? It's already halfway through the year.
How it feels like to me. So if there's a time to do it, that time is now. And if you want it in an even simpler version, in a smaller version, it's just,
give me the TikTok version. Give me the bite-sized version.
Step back from all this, just hid from everyone to either start fixing and sorting my problems or get crushed by them. A large part of it was...
I'm glad you came out the other side, George. I do really feel appreciative of that fact. Because I guess what George always, like, he represented a certain, like, authenticity in YouTube when the, like, feeling on the platform at the time was, like, genuine people were going away and more of this, like, clickbait bullshit started to appear everywhere, and, like, people like George were kind of like a dying breed. And it's, like, really the case now where everyone's just trend hopping and trying to get on the algorithm, ride it as hard and fast as they can. This kind of title, I don't know if George is doing this deliberately, but this right now, turning 40, getting married, like, this kind of stuck in life kind of video is getting very big. Like, the algorithm seems to push this hard right nowadays. I'm seeing so many of these videos just popping up, whereas back in the day, they were, like, really obscure channels. You'd have to really go out of your way to find them. But now it's pretty lucrative.
Dealing with chronic pain, which I'm still dealing with, but it's much better.
Yeah, he had terrible back issues. He tried to, like, a lot of his problems came, I want to say, primarily from his back issues, and he didn't sleep well, and he just was always in some sort of pain. I have a slip disc, so I know kind of what he's talking about, and if I don't keep the inflammation down every now and again, it really gets nasty, and yeah, I can barely sleep.
Definitely things are getting more stable. So, I mean, I'm not even really sure where to get started with this. I think the last time I left off was in September.
I want to say you were sleeping on your back on the floor, like on hard floor, like not maybe with a futon, like in a Japanese style of sleeping. And you had good reports about that. I don't know if you're still doing that.
Of 2022, about the video about Alex passed, my friend Donger. Alex. I'm not sure what's more. I feel like for old time's sake, it's probably better to just say Donger of, like, well, just, man, I have not said Donger in a long time. There's just, like, something bittersweet about using that name again. I don't have any further information about that, folks. It's I don't have any connection with his, I don't have any contact with his family. The coworker that we had from the library, she doesn't, I don't think she talks to his family much. I think that my guess was probably accurate, where based on what he described, I think unfortunately it was an overdose. Probably something this high school friend of his brought over, and
probably Fenn. Seems to be getting a lot of people.
Found him in his apartment. So I don't know if I said this in the last video, but I believe that when I already heard from Annette, he had already been cremated, and I think they had the service. Like, it was a very quick moving, where it's like, whoa, I just found out, and also like, whoa, my friend, wow, they've already cremated him and had the memorial, whatever, for him. Like, wow, that's a lot to take in. I mean, sitting here just now talking about it, thinking like, man, that's I mean, I'm okay, you know, but here and there, you know, you do have memories that come bubbling up. I just, like, if I'm ever, not that I'm ever in the area a lot, but if I'm ever in the area where his apartment was, you know, it's like you kind of like the feels, the memories come right back, and it's a little, you know, it's pretty sad, you know. It's just truly a smart guy that could have done anything he put his mind to, but he kind of just chose not to, and fell back into, I don't know what it would be. And it's unfortunately one of those where he could have, but now he can't. And you really see the waste of a life, unfortunately. But yeah, folks, there's really nothing else left to say other than that. I don't need any information from the family. Like, it doesn't change anything. He's gone, you know? And it's just, you hold on to the memories that you have, and you can recognize to the poor decisions that somebody makes, where it's like, man, it's just tragic, folks. So
I want to say that he did definitely give him some not ultimatums, that's a hard word, but he kind of initiated the process of saying, look, I can't hang around with you anymore. If you're going to be like this, I can't keep being around you when you're this way and getting fucked up. It kind of made that clear and sort of broke ties with the guy. I don't want to say like an angry or spiteful way, just like, I'm going to casually distance myself as a kind of just like a wake-up call. Not a wake-up call you're used to hearing on this channel. But yeah, I think he was earnest about that, and unfortunately in that time, his friend passed away.
So, I miss him a lot. He truly was kind of like the last old-time close friend that I could truly, like, even if we didn't talk a lot, it's like one of those friendships where you can, like, not talk to somebody for a few months and then just pick up like nothing else had happened. It really was something. So, I mean, that's that. I was dating somebody around the time, but it did end in, she broke up with me.
Was that wasn't Turkish girl? I think he was crushing on a girl from Turkey or something like that. But it kind of went nowhere.
On, I think, Good Friday in 2023. It was for the best, though. It was good to, you know, have somebody in my life at the time as I was like trying to figure out chronic pain, shoulder stuff. But I did kind of knew at some point relatively.
Yeah, they're a hard breed to find. Like, they're someone who will give you the time of day, and if you've got some sort of ailment, and give you a lot of time and attention and not get pissed off. They're hard to find, George.
Early on, that I just don't think long term. Didn't really think that it would be great. So I think it's for the best. Like, I wasn't angry at her or anything like that, and she didn't quite have a good reason for me either. Just something about, we met at a park and she just said, I don't even recall now. It's just kind of a distant memory of like, oh, we're just like maybe not on the same page. Maybe if we had met before, things would be different. And like, she even just said, like, doesn't even know what was wrong with her. I mean, really, I think probably just I don't know how to put it for you. Like, I don't want to go into all her details, and she didn't tell me everything, but just somebody who definitely, got clearly messed up by a previous relationship, like really messed up. And I think just poor life choices earlier in life, you can see that a person is just kind of broken. And I really think probably lost her ability to pair bond, if I had to use that phrase. Like, it's
Yeah, it's a phrase that I guess, I mean, I hear it every now and again, but it's kind of fallen out of favor.
I recall back in the day, people would like, you kind of see that get tossed around online, but like when you really see that in person, folks, it's just lock the doors. The car app is going crazy. Like, yes, I know the doors are unlocked. When you really see that in person, it's kind of just sad. It really is.
Yeah, I would have to imagine it's having a relationship with a person like that when there's like a listlessness about her, and she's just like in between, nothing really seems serious, or like you can't get, there's no possibility of a serious commitment. Yeah, you would ultimately feel that we should part ways, because what is the relationship outside of a sex buddy partnership, like friends with benefits?
So honestly, folks, I just felt sorry for her. It's like you can kind of just see how a person is just kind of broken by their experience and choices in life, and just whatever previous bad relationship. It's just,
and the thing is, like, there is someone out there for that kind of person. It's just, she would need to find that person, like, and it's like 1 in a million, and like, what's the chances of meeting, and what's the chance of introducing each other and getting to know each other and having dates and stuff like that? It's the odds are pretty astronomical. So that person may just continue to struggle, probably meet someone that's probably not good for her, but good enough, and have this sort of like wishy-washy relationship with no commitment, and it's just like they're at home with each other, but they don't talk to each other, and it's all very awkward and quiet all the time. You just like live to get by.
But it's for the best that it came to an end. I just knew, like, if we had gotten closer, this just wouldn't be good. I mean, what were my takeaways from it? Two things. The first thing is that it, quote unquote, you know what I mean, it was very underwhelming. I felt kind of embarrassed that I had built, quote unquote.
Yeah, I know what he's going to say, and I want to say, like, I was going to call this, like, you put too much pressure on yourself. You built this up too much. It was, unless it was an incredible first relationship, and she was like, dynamic personality, kind of nuts in bed, it was always going to end up this way. And like, I think the first girl he really got with was the one that couldn't pair bond. She was kind of like broken, and I would say the act and performing the act was probably very underwhelming for poor Georgie Boy. I always thought he should see a professional lady of the evening, mistress of the night, and maybe spend a little bit of money on it. Don't just go to a Jack Shack or a Thai Tug. Go find someone professional that actually will know how to work, know what she's doing, and give you an experience that you would never forget as the first time. But unfortunately, he went a very traditional route, and I don't have anything against that. But ultimately, it was a whatever.
Quote it, like, you know what I mean, up in my head, and like once
it's another car farting. Sorry.
The novelty and all that wears off, it is very like, so this is it, huh?
Yeah.
This is what, probably what you when you don't have something and you really focus on it a lot and you start building it up in your head.
Yeah, it's going to be it's already a big problem for young men. It's just going to be like a nightmare scenario when they eventually get there with like possibly women who are broken and like have all sorts of mental and social issues that they cross the finishing line and they realize this is fucked. This was not worth all that trouble and all that pain and heartache.
And I think just due to, you know, PRON brain, like you really, and then once you do the things, it's like, huh.
Oh yeah, Georgie Boy was also he went through his no fap phases and no nut November, and I don't know about all that. It's kind of like a bro science. Like there is certainly something to be said about breaking up a corn addiction. And you know, like there are young people out there who will have this big problem, and will, because back in my day, finding porn was a little bit more difficult, and then it became very, very fucking easy. Really easy. Like I was literally finding porn in the woods or in the bush. We used to find magazines and stashes, and then it like wasn't really about that anymore because the internet, kind of like the advent of the internet happened, and instead of finding porn in the bush, we found porn on the net, just like that. Click your fingers, it was done.
Not some deeply fulfilling thing. So I recall that, and also just I did find myself, funny enough, kind of missing being alone, which was
So like, yeah, it is relatable, like especially if you've been in bad relationships, you do miss just your own time, getting away from like that person and like doing you, and enjoying your time.
I recall it. There was something comedic about it where it's like, how long? Oh, I need somebody in my life. God's lonely man, all that. And like, here you are in a relationship, and yeah, it was good, But like a part of me in a weird, messed up way, I was like, man, I kind of just miss being alone. Where like, whoa, it's you got to really like treasure that alone time too, because being with somebody is work, where suddenly you don't have that free time and you do have to start thinking about somebody else and all that stuff. Is like, well, I don't know, I just found something funny about that, where here how many years did I spend talking about that stuff, thinking about it. I don't have it.
It's such a pressure, I guess. I don't blame George all that much for this. Like, it's such a societal pressure, and it's crushing, especially I don't know when he lost his virginity. It was, I want to say, in the last 2 or 3 years. Had to be. And yeah, like 37, 36. Yeah, it would feel suffocating at that point. And I think young men growing up today in their 20s, in their mid-20s, and possibly pushing into their 30s are feeling that same sort of pressure. Is like, what is wrong with me? What have I done wrong? Why can't I compete with this, that, and the other? Why can't I attract anyone? And that pressure becomes stifling. Like, it wouldn't be everyone's cup of tea, but I would advocate for men just young men seeing professionals get this fucking shit out of your system early. If you're making a lot of good money, possibly have it like, a reoccurring thing. Like, look at Love Left Me Forever, aka Wayne. I did that video, and well, I guess he found a freak, but she treated him right. She blew his mind, and you couldn't wipe the smile off that guy's face. And he was a miserable piece of shit, that guy. He was a miserable piece of shit for the longest time, but he's literally, I don't know what his channel looks like now, but he has had a complete turnaround in terms of like the vibe he gives out in the world now. He's more happy and content. Will that last? Probably not, but yeah, I do advocate for men to like basically get this out of their system as quick as possible, but also be considerate and spend a little money, find someone who will tick all your boxes, and they'll probably be able to approach it with empathy and understand, hey, look, I'm here for you, I can give you a service and it'll be good, I'll make sure it's good. Not everyone's cup of tea, I would understand that too, but this idea of going down a traditional route to find the one, and you'll share a very strong bond together and it'll never be broken, and the sex will be, unbelievable. It's a difficult thing, and it comes with its own problems.
Anyone, and you have someone, and you kind of just like, I kind of just miss being by myself too.
Huh. You miss the long walks, the long hikes, in nature, no one around, just you and your thoughts, maybe a bit of music in your ears or something like that. Nothing's better than that, but like if you have to keep a schedule, including work and now the girlfriend, it might be draining for someone because he was alone for a long, long time. He lived with his parents. He still lives with his parents, I guess, but he was alone for a long time. So it's all he really knew. And then you become accustomed to it. You like the lifestyle, and then you break it up. You get the relationship, and it really kind of maybe wears thin.
I remember having a good laugh about that to myself. Of like, oh yeah, But what's the next thing? I did meet somebody else. It's through a coworker. Got invited to a it was kind of like,
oh, it is funny, like George would park up in a lot of these parking lots, and it's just like a weird connection with Paul. Was a lot of people would park close to him, and like it is a weird Paul like situation where you don't understand why they're doing this, because he would be in these big empty car parks, and like people would throw it in right next to him, and he's just like, well, I'm having this, like, I'm doing this like vlog, and there's a guy right next to me for no particular reason other than to be right next to him. And I was just thinking about like, oh yeah, it does, like even for like a normal guy like George, it would be irritating, and Paul would have to deal with this all the time.
like a home, kind of a church, little meetup, faith study thing. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah, I want to say he's like Orthodox Christian, like from like a Ukrainian, with a bit of a Ukrainian, Slavish sort of bent.
Through a coworker. I went, and she did kind of introduce me to a couple of people, and I think she was definitely like playing matchmaker there. But my fiance basically sent out like a concert invite to people. I was the only one that accepted, and it turned into a date. So
nice.
Definitely nothing online. So I wasn't sure how it was gonna go, because
Yeah, it's definitely not the norm these days, like to find someone just like organically or through a friend.
I think she was gonna like move out of state, but then so it kind of felt like, well, it's a relationship, like are we even gonna stay together long? Like maybe it's gonna come to an end, but it didn't. So, and it just progressed, and here we go. It's getting serious. So we talked about having kids maybe in a couple of years. So she is younger, so things are...
Ooh. Yeah, if she's young, I think male fertility is pretty good. Like past 50, it might get a little bit dicey. Past 60, it's gonna be a little bit more dicey. So you're probably just about at the right age, George. It's difficult in terms of you will be kind of rearing them while... So if you say turn 42 and then you have your first child, you know, you'll be in your 60s before they're like finishing high school. So that's a difficult thing. That's the hard thing is, you know, you get to that, you push 60 and into 60, like, there's no guarantee I'll live this long, or there's no guarantee I'll be in good health by the time this kid really needs me to be there for him.
Really, yeah. I don't know. It was very unexpected. What can I say? Yeah, it sort of feels hard to believe, to talk about. Like, wow.
I want to believe George is excited about this. He's got a bit of a monotone, bit of a, like, he's got a dour vibe and like aura about him, but that's his thing. Might be a little bit autistic, I don't know, but yeah, like, don't take this sort of lack of excitement as an indictment of the relationship or anything like that. It's just, yeah, that's how I know George.
At the ripe old age of 40 years old, I'm gonna be like in a serious relationship where we're getting married. Like, wow, it almost feels...
I guess my bigger question for you, George, would be, is she pushing the agenda, or is she kind of take it or leave it? I'll have kids, I might not have kids. So is that like core to her future plans? And are you on board with that 100%? Because I don't think it's something you can be wishy-washy about. It might be something that could put the relationship in jeopardy.
Hard to believe to be saying that, thinking back to all of that.
I did not have this on the bingo card for you. At the last time you uploaded, I would have thought this was not going to happen at any point. But, you know, it's just fate has a way.
Wow, right? So that's happening. I'm going to be moving out. So, yeah, that's right.
Congratulations.
I'm going to be actually leaving the house.
But now I'm like... I don't know, George. Unless she has something lined up, are you moving in with her? Does she have her own place? Because I'm thinking if you do not have work, I don't think Colorado or in around the suburbs where you would live is going to be affordable. So she might have a place lined up and he's moving in with her.
My parents' house. Moving somewhere far away.
Whoa. Out of state?
And yeah, I've got just 2 more days left in my almost 19 years at the library. I never thought I would ever actually leave. It felt impossible to let go and to actually release that tight grip, right?
Yeah, you get comfortable with your job, where you live, everything around you. It's just like the warm bowl of porridge. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just like in between. It's safe, it's nothing particularly great. It doesn't have any cinnamon or, you know, like cut fruit into it, you know. It's just like a warm bowl of porridge, and you start eating it, and that's fine. It's okay, it could be better, but it could be worse.
And here it is. And I always thought, like, I wonder what my last days would be like. And it's just, my last days are just like any old other day.
Yeah.
Nothing that special. It's just another day.
Yeah, I left a previous employment like a few years ago, and I did not really. They were like, "Oh, you're leaving!" Like on the second last day, and they go, "Oh, that's so sad. We'll miss you." And it was like the next day, it was just fine. Like it was just an ordinary day. My close, like, personal co-workers that I had friendships with we went out for drinks, but like by and large, it was just a non-event.
And all this thing built up in here and all the... it meant nothing whatsoever.
He always used to talk about this thing, analysis paralysis, and good term really, because he would overanalyze things to his own detriment. He would be thinking about things constantly, and really like making a boogeyman out of like all these different like life changes he could have made. And he spun his wheels too long, and eventually he's come to a point where he's just fed up with it. The heck with it, I'll do it. See what happens.
I mean, that's been, I don't know, just like the general opening of the eyes as I get older, just how I view things now, and just like really a lot of the rose-tinted glasses, whatever term you want to use, is coming off. It's like, wow, a lot of things where it's like, I can't believe I built it up in my head like this, where it's like, once all that comes off, it's like, so this is what it is, right? It's just...
Yeah, it's like, the Wizard of Oz. It's Oz, the Great and Powerful, is just some random homeless-looking guy, and it doesn't matter. It was never really worth all that thought.
I recall coming across this YouTube channel, which, man, I have to say, YouTube has been great for learning. I don't really watch any vlogging or any of that stuff anymore. And on a side note, I do have to say...
I think all the OGs are gone, George. Like all those channels, everything you used to watch back then. Some of the real heroes of the quote-unquote blogosphere, manosphere, whatever you want to call it, the love shy sphere. I don't want to say the I word because I don't think that really represents George very well. They're all gone. They're all gone to the wind, and if they're not gone to the wind, they've like transitioned into some other grift. I've seen Eggy. Like Eggy's still around. He's on Rumble, but I don't know what the fuck happened with Eggy recently. He there was something about like possible he had people in his Discord that were maybe connected to a recent like homicide spree of like questionable gender. Maybe they were gender transitioning. It was national news for a bit. And yeah, Eggy's on Rumble and he's doing his thing. He's got his mobile mansion. I don't know where the hell he is, but he's not living with his aunt anymore. But his channel's kind of gone quiet. I think he's gone back to work. He's now a trucker.
I do find it interesting that the YouTube algorithm is now just constantly recommending kind of like black pill videos.
Not black pill, but it's more like you're like a 40 and not sure, or I'm working a dead end job or something like that. It's like people are now getting real. Like the algorithm, they've obviously picked up on the fact that like so many millennials, I guess, are very unhappy in their lives and relationships are falling apart. And like it's obviously a sign of pure societal decay. And this is what is resonating with people right now. Whereas like the videos you used to make, George, back in the day, they would never recommend it because it wasn't really a sign of the time yet, but now it's in vogue.
If you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, where it's always the same. It's some dude in that 18 to 50 age range sitting in their car or at some work.
I'm thinking that, like, and also I'm getting like irritated by the fact that I think some of these guys are not very genuine, and like they understand that this is a way to launch your channel. This is the way to get it going. Is basically do the sob story about how like out of luck you are and everything, and the algorithm will really like rocket boost that shit. Like dudes are starting out like yesterday about doing one video and already they got like 55k subs and possibly a Patreon.
Workplace talking about how their life didn't
You were just like in the wrong era, George. You were just in the wrong era.
Turn out. Like, I just find that very fascinating of like, back in the day, back in my day, if you made this kind of stuff, you were basically just like a weird freak.
fucking A. Like, there's so many examples of this where there's like people in the wrong era. They just were 5, 6, 7 years too late. And now you got these channels where it's this dude who works at 7-Eleven or something like that is like, he's blowing up. Everywhere I see it's like his videos are recommended. He's like 30 and I'm working at 7-Eleven, and he got fired and now he's like back, and then he's got like 500,000 subs already. It's just, yeah, that kind of shit. And it's getting common and more common, and like a lot more female influence. Like a lot of like female vloggers are coming out saying the same fucking shit that maybe George would have said, but like it's a gender inverse, and are like blowing up.
And nowadays, this has just exploded and it's everywhere. And that content is now literally on the YouTube algorithm. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Which just shows you that, I guess the black pill won, because, I don't know, man. I know I'm going on.
I don't know if it's like black pill, so to speak, like of the vintage you're talking about. It's more of, it's like a hybrid sort of thing where it's reality, like the pain of like the reality people are living, without sort of more of that sort of sort of like nonsense.
On like a tangent here, but
You should.
when I look back at all the stuff I've talked about with the forever alone, the incel, the this, the that, really, you know, you take all of that and everything that people have talked about over the years, really at the end of the day, this whole thing, this phenomenon.
I want to say it's sanitized black pill. Like, it's a very sanitized way to approach like black pill topics, but you were ahead of the curve. You were ahead of the curve.
I'm not the monster. No, I'm just ahead of the curve. Yes, come to me. Come on. I'm not the monster. No.
Whatever you want to call it. It was just a canary in the coal mine of sorts of the general rot and decline in society. It's just that everything else hadn't caught up to it. Everything else was still kind of fine-ish, right? This was just one of those early warning signs of, hey, so something's happening, right? Something is happening in the world. And now everything else has...
Yeah, they used to throw eggs and like rotten tomatoes at like a person like George, where like his content was just basically bannable for a long phase of time. And now, yeah, reality has caught up where, oh yeah, like this sort of content is a reflection of how society is doing today. And yet, like, no, it's just caught up. It was always this bad. It's just now like really getting going, and like I guess people are resonating with the content more than they ever have before, because YouTube never really would like to promote something like George's journal ever. Hopefully this video does well for him.
Caught up to it, and now everything is suffering in its own way. I mean, that's my opinion, folks. I don't know how you can look at the world and not, like, everything just now kind of sucks. And now everything is feeling it. And now you look at, like, I mean, it's like the statistics of, what is it, by, like, in the next 15 years or something, I'm sure.
But I want to say, George, for, like, all the, like, possible micro fame you would have got out of that, like maybe getting a bigger channel, like it's good that you fostered a smaller community, like people would be more sincere, and like you're talking to real ones, where I don't know, a lot of these channels nowadays just feel like grifts, just feel like they're cashing in on the moment, and all of a sudden they've got t-shirts and mugs and a Cash App and a Patreon. Like nothing about it seems genuine. I don't think George was ever looking for handouts. But that's just the cynic in me. I've been watching too much Paul B, so I'm very cynical these days.
I'm not quoting it, where it's like, what, half of women are going to be single and childless. Like, man, it's just everywhere now. It's just like, it's just kind of crazy. But yeah, I have found that rather interesting with YouTube, where now this kind of content is just mainstream and literally being promoted by YouTube. Like, wow, that's
Yeah, hopefully, like, I don't know if you wanted, like, retroactively, people might come to this channel and say, oh, here's a real OG. Like, forget all these other people. Like, he was there from the start. He was there with Kent back in the day.
I want to date a female who's never had no dude stick his nasty penis in her vagina. The only penis that's going to her vagina is mine! Nobody else's! Nobody else's!
Oh, I do miss Kent. Has Kent reappeared at any point? He would always talk about Kent. Oh, God, he's a classic. I want to say he followed his dream to be a pro wrestler. I don't know if anything came of it, though. And he got a girlfriend, who might have been like a OnlyFans star. Or not star, but OnlyFans creator.
Who would have thought, never would have imagined, that you would see so many of these kind of videos everywhere.
I think you need reparations. I think you need reparations there, George. You're owed money. You're owed something.
Like, wow. And of course, here's the tradition of old picnic man. That's another. That's another phrase I've not used or heard in a long time. Of I start during one time a day, and it's already getting nighttime. I guess it's like the phrase I've heard. Luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. So I better, folks, put aside all the BS. Learn, folks, from the mistakes and not repeat them.
I think the one takeaway, George, like the one bit of advice, and if you happen to watch this video, thank you for watching. Just focus on the idea of, because I still use it to this day, analysis paralysis. Because I feel like outside of your back and outside of like the few other issues, that one thing in particular, above everything else, above it all, was your worst crutch. Like it was your worst habit, was this endless over-analysis. And you've already gone into it a little bit. Like you've already shown you've got a little bit of that lingering. Maybe it's still controlling, where you kind of like overlook something that actually works for you and is actually pretty decent and beneficial in your life, but you're looking and searching for more. You're going to over-engineer it. You're going to make it more complicated than it needs to be. I think that kind of line of thinking needs to be deleted forever, because I think this is like literally ruined your life up to a point. And now things are coming good, but it's like it's a lingering habit that needs to be like forever deleted. Because it's all right to like have precaution and make sure that you make the right decisions, but to the extent that you do the analysis and the damage analysis and what could go wrong and all the different like timelines and things that you could actually like what could eventuate out of this is not worth it. It really isn't. I think you need to get a little bit more go with the flow with a little bit of precaution.
I wasted many years of my life, and how do you deal with it? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the feeling of a wasted life?
You don't think about it, George. Like that will eat you up from the inside out. You just want to enjoy the moment. You want to get married. You want to have children and do your thing. And that's like, that is the next leap, and you'll never look back. But if you're going to start bemoaning that sort of stuff forever and a day, you're going to be doomed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If that is like a lingering thought in your mind at any given time of the day, I do fear for you long term.
The only thing you can, which is not to waste the rest of it.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, there's sadness about leaving the job, this and that, and I'm gonna miss some things, but I'm not overly, I'm just have this sense in my heart, like, just don't be overly sentimental and sappy and sad, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. By the end of the year, like,
It's also good to hear from you again, George, and like everything is well. You look well. You're still slim, looking good. But also maybe, yeah, the YouTube career, put it on hold. Drop in every now and again, drop a line, but do not get back into this sort of like thing, because I feel like it's no good for you.
I really want to challenge myself for something else, just something higher, something more interesting, more rewarding for me. I don't want to live the rest of my life just kind of half-assing things.
I think what's going to happen here, George, is I don't know about the blockchain stuff. That so much is probably sure to me. But I want to say with this, so you're going to radically change your life. You're going to change environment. You're going to change cities, whole new environment, new opportunities. And it's just the way things work, where you just get into a whole new network of people and network of things. You'll be meeting new people. Like, it's a fresh start, and you'll breathe a bit easier knowing that you don't know anyone. No one's like remembering you from somewhere. It's a fresh start, and you get the opportunity to basically plug yourself into a different network, a different environment, where you might not end up where you think you'll end up, but it'll work out. I know that's like a little bit of a nebulous boomer-like talk, but it's just the way things happen, and I've like experienced this a few times where I was stuck in ruts, but due to a major shake-up and an environmental change, like I've gone to a different part of the world or the country that I'm in, things have just found me, and it's worked out. All right, guys, that is George. That is Forever Alone feels, well, not forever alone anymore. It's like Wayne. What was it? Love left him forever. Well, love came back. And George, he was forever alone, and now the feeling is love. He's not the virgin Messiah. He's, virgin ascended. The ascension has been completed. Well, that was completed a little while ago, and now George's journal is just, the man is ready. He's ready to move on. The blockchain, I think maybe I don't know about that, but if there's a coding background, it's useful. Someone will want it. If it's not, given to a, fresh off the plain Indian or something like that, there will be a use for you, and hopefully it's a lucrative career. All right, guys, I'm not going to make any, hopefully not make a series out of this, because I don't expect to see George pop up too much. But yeah, look, this is purely a self-interest video. Whether or not any of the audience who watches the Homeless American Holocaust content actually vibes with any of this is not really why I'm making this video. So, all right, guys, till next time.